me. You can't do that, officer, because I called for your supervisor. I have my license. What is the reason I'm getting out?
To give your information. I told you
I didn't refuse. I asked.
Now you're resisting.
I haven't refused. I asked to speak to your supervisor.
Get out.
Sir, I feel uncomfortable. Please get your supervisor.
I don't give a shit.
Don't touch me.
I said get out.
Please stop it. Why are you being like this? Is how y'all really are? Please stop. This is all on tape. Please stop.
Get out of the car.
Please don't hurt me. Why are you doing this? No, sir.
I'm telling you, get out.
I'm telling you that this is not lawful. Oh my God, that's not lawful, sir.
Get out.
That's not lawful.
Get out.
There's an unnamed Tennessee police officer there assaulting a driver. His name is Delane Gordon. He's a DoorDash driver, and he was just a couple miles away from his drop-off when he was pulled over, routine traffic stop, apparently for speeding. And that's what all went down because Gordon was uncomfortable, which apparently the officer said, I don't give a S what you feel, and proceeded to tase him. I think he was right in thinking that he was uncomfortable there and needed to speak to the supervisor. Let's go to the details of everything that went down here. Attorney Ryan Wheeler for Gordon, he released a video at a news conference on Friday, and he said that Delane Gordon began recording when the March 10th stop started to make him feel unsafe. Police in Collegedale, which is a city of 11,000 people, it's 20 miles away from Chattanooga for the nearest large city there, have thus far declined to identify this officer. And the man wound up facing additional charges of resisting arrest and obstruction of justice. Still wasn't told what he was arrested for. Either way, Wheeler said Gordon was a few hundred feet away from where he was delivering food for DoorDash when that officer made that U-turn and pulled him over. Gordon questioned why he was getting pulled over, is what his attorney then said. The Hamilton County District Attorney's Office then announced Tuesday that it asked the county sheriff's office to investigate the traffic stop on March 10th by the Collegedale Police Department, in which the driver was charged with speeding, disorderly conduct, and resisting arrest. So the charges just kind of kept growing from there. So lastly, the Collegedale Police Department has not put the officer on leave. That's what the lieutenant also said. And the department has the officer's, quote, complete camera footage of the encounter and hopes to release it at the end of the criminal probe and the department's internal affairs investigation. So if they have the full body cam evidence, fine, you're going through your investigation, you don't want to release it yet for whatever reasons. I'm not sure of the normal protocol, but we did see what Delane Gordon posted there. Now, if there's something previous to that, I would love to see what it is that would justify these next steps. If asking for a supervisor, or if not even, as he said, he didn't produce his paperwork or something. I saw a license in his hand. And as we mentioned last week, there was one man in LA that was killed after he said, fine, I'll go through the blood test, or I'll go through the whatever test you need to do about his sobriety. But it was too late at that point. So I guess it was too late here too, David.
Look, there's nobody who can ruin your day faster than a cop who's got a chip on his shoulder. In this particular case, this cop clearly seemed to be racist. It was an African-American DoorDash driver. I'd say Mr. Delane Gordon has a very strong civil lawsuit because yes, it is protocol. If you ask, if you're pulled over and you say, I'd like to see a supervisor, departments are duty bound to call in a sergeant or supervisor to come and help. And there's no reason to use excessive force because somebody refuses to get out of a car. There's no suspicion that the police had here other than, okay, the guy was speeding. Well, if he's preparing to turn over his driver's license and then you say, I want you out of the car, then at that point the guy could say, no, I don't want to get out of the car. And the police officer is supposed to get a supervisor, but this is clearly a cop with a chip on his shoulder who had his feelings hurt, who decided, I'm gonna show this guy who the boss is. And that's why we have so many institutional problems with cops who feel that they have to escalate and manhandle people as opposed to de-escalate and being rational.
For all you folks that are listening to David there and said, what is he talking about? It's not like when someone doesn't produce their paperwork and when someone asks for a supervisor, the cop can do whatever the damn well pleases he wants with that particular citizen. Well, we did this story from a few months ago, and this is one of those typical situations. This guy was actually being belligerent and upset at this particular officer, did not want to produce his paperwork, and asked for a supervisor. He wasn't snatched out, he wasn't tased. Watch.
You were observed going 57 and a 40, and you were on your phone texting while you were doing that.
You don't need to point at me, officer.
I'm not pointing at you, I'm pointing in the direction where it was.
I just called the chief, how's that?
Go right ahead, sir. Can I see your license?
Right?
Yes, sir, I do. Can I see your license, registration, insurance, please?
You can do this?
Yes, sir. You're not gonna give me your registration, sir.
You harass me?
I'm asking you if you're gonna produce me with your registration. You don't have it on you? Okay, sir, are you refusing to produce your registration? asking you if you have your registration.
You're making career decisions. Why
Okay,
are you
sir.
doing this?
Sir, because you were speeding and you were texting. You can wait for the supervisor, but I'm going to go through what I need to go through.
Maybe the Collegedale Police Department can look at this for some training footage, because as she said, you can wait for the supervisor, which would make me believe the supervisor has been called. But same time, here is your citation for the traffic violations that you have. Why isn't it that simple?
It should be that simple, except in this tape that you just ran, it was a white, I believe, I don't know, maybe it was a city councilor, mayor, or somebody, like he was a white elected government official who knew the police, and so he felt like he could use his authority, and the cop was being very deferential, maybe just simply because it was a white man. When you have the case of a white cop in Tennessee who then sees a DoorDash driver who happens to be African American, who's asserting his rights and saying, no, I want a supervisor, and I want to know what's the reasonable articulable suspicion that you're pulling me over, and it comes across, I don't know, maybe the cop feels challenged because the driver knows more about the law than the cop does, and the cop just goes crazy. That is a bad apple in a police department that shouldn't have a badge, shouldn't have a gun. He's gonna get somebody killed someday.
And as they protect him, which is what it seems like right now, the bad apple has now spread it, and now it seems like this department is just as rotten as he is.